So you're thinking about moving to Mexico, but you're drowning in YouTube videos, Facebook groups, and random advice from people who haven't been here more than a few months. I get it, I've been there. Before my move 6 years ago, I wish someone had just handed me a simple, straight up list of things that mattered the most. In this video, I'm breaking down 11 things I wish I knew before moving to Mexico. And I'm doing it in under 10 minutes. Let's get it. So here's the list in no particular order, but one of the things I wish I knew before moving to Merida, Mexico is how little I would actually go to the beach. So we moved here thinking that, we're 25 to 30 minutes from the Gulf Coast. We would be at the beach all the time. And the reality of that just isn't true. In 2025, I think I visited the beach maybe 8 times. It's nice to be close to the beach, but the reality is beach days are messy, full of sand and all those things. And while I love the ocean for fishing, I don't necessarily enjoy the ocean to get in. One of the things that people talk about living here in Merida, Mexico is just how hot it is. And one of the realities is that you will be using AC quite a bit if you're used to having an air-conditioned control house. Here's a tip that I wish I knew before moving here, and that is you can use the dry function on your air conditioning. You have cool, you have dry, and you have fan. And typically the dry function on your air conditioning is denoted by a water drop. So just by putting it on dry, removing the humidity out of the air, it significantly cools the room down and it saves you on your electricity bill because you don't have to run the compressor. The other thing that I wish I knew is how expensive electricity is here in Mexico. So one of the things you're going to want to do when you move into a place, even if it's an Airbnb, is take a picture of the meter as soon as you get there so you can understand how much electricity you will use. Once you move into a place long term, you're going to want to listen for running pumps, how frequently they come on, how long they run before they go off, things of that nature. You want to learn how your house works, how the pumps work, so that you can identify when there's a pump running too long or running dry and things of that nature, because those things will drive up your electricity bill almost as fast as using a lot of AC. Another thing that I wish I knew before moving to Mexico is that not only is electricity expensive, but it can also be unreliable. So you should plan for power outages. Now, power outages can have 2 effects. One, power's down, but the more important problem with power outages is that when the power surges back on, it can blow up your electronics. So you're going to want to have a plan for power outages, and that plan should include things like voltage regulators, UPS devices, or here they call them no breaks. You're going to want to have a solar power battery backup, which can last for several hours during an outage. And you're going to want to have a generator. If you want to know more about building a power backup plan, check out this video over here. I'll leave a link to it above and also in the description notes below. If you want. All right, another thing I wish I knew before moving to Mexico 6 years ago is that time and money go by really fast here when you first move. Let me explain. So we've been here for 6 years. It really feels like it's been 2 or 3 maybe, but also your resources will go by really fast, particularly in that first or second year. The resources just seem to go out. You're spending. Oftentimes you're spending a little more than you should because you just don't know any better of what the normal prices are. So definitely enjoy your time while you're here and spend your resources wisely, because the savings that you have and the things that you think will last you for a very long time may actually go a little faster than you anticipate because of those things I just mentioned. Do you have a question that you really need answered to but haven't found the answer on YouTube or Facebook? So don't worry, I offer one-on-one consulting for moving to Mexico. You can book and schedule a session using the link that I'll leave below and also in the description notes. If you just have a single question that you need to answer or one particular thing that you want to really discuss, make me an offer using the Offer Time app. Offer Time allows you to make me an offer for a 15-minute session, and the best part about that is you get to choose the price. So if I have availability and your offer is accepted, we'll get together for a quick 15-minute session at the price that you select. Speaking of expenses in that first year or two, speaking and operating in Spanish isn't just about the language, but it's also about saving money. If you can operate and speak in Spanish, not only will your experience of living here be enhanced, also you'll be able to navigate more like a local and save money. People that only offer service to the immigrant community of English speakers typically charge you a lot more for the same thing than if they were doing it for a Spanish speaker or a local. It takes time and money for them to learn English as a second language, as you can imagine. And so they typically charge more, and they should, because they're able to meet your need of not being able to communicate in the local language. Another thing I wish I knew before moving to Mexico, you should upgrade all of your technology that you plan to use before coming here. Everything is at least 17% more expensive because there's an IVA, which is an overall tax on everything, which is 17%. But not to mention there's often an upcharge for things like televisions, computers, cell phones and things of that nature. So you want to get all of those things upgraded to the latest versions that you plan to have before moving out of the country and moving to Mexico. It will save you a lot of money in doing that. Also, you want to give yourself the option of using a personal VPN, setting up a personal VPN system at your home before leaving the States and moving to Mexico. All right, so one of the things that we realized, because the climate here is so hot, one of the things that we often do when we travel back for the holidays is we buy our summer clothes when it's fall in the States. So you're gonna wanna buy all of your clothes, shorts, t-shirts, shoes, things of that nature in the States when they're on deep discount, because it's fall there and it's cold, but it's always summer here. I got the best pair of Birkenstock sandals with a thick rubber sole on clearance at REI during the fall. And I've been rocking those shoes for a couple of years now because the soles are just really, really nice. They're not the standard soles that you get on Birkenstock. Speaking of clothes and shoes, it may be hard for you to find clothes and shoes if you're a person that's taller than the average person here. The average person in this particular area of Mexico is probably 5'3", 5'4" at best. I'm 5'7", and there are many times that I feel like I'm a tall person. And shoes larger than a size 12 are hard to find. Pants that are tall are hard to find. So if you are bigger than the normal population around you, which this is a Mayan population for the most part, so people are really short, then you're gonna wanna buy your clothes and shoes back in the States before you come to Mexico. Another thing I wish I knew before moving to Mexico is that the best time to find a long-term rental is gonna be between May and early August. Let me explain. Many people move here and they leave when it gets super hot, right? So there are a lot of snowbirds. If there are 16,000 or 18,000 people that live here on a regular basis, there's probably another 4,000 or 5,000 that come every season from October to March. But April and May, they start to bounce because it gets way too hot for them. And when they do that, the houses that they are in normally become available. So the best time to find those places is when they leave in May all the way through August. Tons of houses come up on the market for rentals, and that is the peak time for finding a long-term rental. So in late April and May, when those folks are leaving and those properties are becoming available, all of their items that are huge that they can't take with them go up for sale. So you'll see things like grills, appliances, ladders, furniture, home decor, all of those things tend to be for sale secondhand on Facebook Marketplace or in WhatsApp groups and what have you. My wife just got a great deal on a 27-inch monitor for 30 bucks because the person was leaving and they were gonna just sit it outside if they didn't sell it. So great time to get good deals when people are leaving and moving. You can kind of get those deals. And normally they pop up in late April, early May is when people are bouncing right before the summer. All right, I'm curious to know which of these 11 things surprised you the most. Leave me comments below. I'd love to hear what you thought about this list. If you want to know more about my experience living here in Mexico over the last 6 years, check out this video over here. And until next time, MexitPlans Monty, I'm out.